You think God can't use you because you messed up? Because your story got ugly, or your past is something you try to forget, or you're still struggling with things you thought you'd be free from by now? You think that disqualifies you? Then maybe you forgot who God uses. He didn't pick the polished, he picked the willing, and he still does. Moses killed a man in anger and ran into the wilderness. He spent 40 years hiding, thinking his moment had passed. But when the bush caught fire and God called his name, Moses said, "Who am I to speak?" And God said, "I will be with you." Not because Moses had earned it, but because grace doesn't wait for perfection. It just moves when the time is right. David loved God and still fell hard. He took another man's wife. He sent that man to die in war to cover it up. And when the prophet Nathan showed up, David broke, not just with guilt, but with repentance. "Create in me a clean heart, O God," he said. And God didn't erase his consequences, but he never erased David's calling. Peter swore he would never leave Jesus. He was ready to fight for him until the moment came, and he denied knowing Jesus 3 times. That should have been the end. But when the tomb was empty, Jesus didn't come back looking for perfect people. He made breakfast on the shore. He asked Peter, "Do you love me?" And he said, "Then feed my sheep." Peter went on to lead the early church, not because he never fell, but because he got back up. So what's your excuse? What's the lie you've been believing? That you're too far gone? That your sin disqualified you? That your mistake means your ministry is over? God's not looking for spotless resumes. He's looking for surrendered hearts. The ones who know how much they've been forgiven. Those are the ones who love the deepest, lead the boldest, and shine the brightest. Because they know the glory doesn't belong to them anyway. It belongs to the one who never gave up on them. Maybe you've been sitting in silence for a long time. You go to church, you hear the songs, you say the right things, but deep down, you've already disqualified yourself. You think because you're still struggling with that sin, or still healing from that wound, or still not there yet, that God's done with you. You've convinced yourself that the calling was for someone else, someone stronger, someone holier. But the truth is, that lie isn't humility. It's shame. And shame never comes from God. If God only used the perfect, there would be no one left. He used Jonah, who ran. He used Samson, who played with sin until it ruined him. He used Elijah even after he asked to die. He used the woman at the well, 5 husbands deep and still thirsty for more. He used Paul, who murdered Christians and wrote half the New Testament. So, if you're still breathing, he's not done with you. You might think your wounds are proof you're unworthy, but to God, they might just be the evidence that you're ready. Because people don't need someone who pretends to have it all together. They need someone who knows what it's like to fall and still finds their way back. They need someone who knows what grace tastes like, who's been on the floor and knows who to call when everything breaks. And if that's you, then you're exactly the kind of person God can use. You see, you're not disqualified. You're positioned right here, right now. Not by accident, not by default. God isn't asking you to fix everything before he can work through you. He's asking you to surrender it, to give him the mess, to trust that your broken pieces can still build something beautiful when they're in his hands. So stop waiting to feel worthy. Yeah, you won't. Stop waiting to be perfect. You can't. God's not waiting on a version of you that doesn't exist. He's calling you now. With the limp, with the guilt, with the scars. He knows your story, and he still wants you in his.